Hey, English 232, Miss Brewer here. Happy fall break if you're on fall break. It has been crazy busy at the school. We've done some auditions for an upcoming play that I'll tell you guys about later, and we have all these things going on, which is super exciting, but I am finally getting through your American Dream essays, your definition essays, and they need some work. So I am going to give everybody an opportunity to revise their essays and earn back some of the points that you lost on the grade. So what you'll essentially have the opportunity to do is revise or rewrite, which some of you will need to do, your essays, and you can earn half of what you lost back. So if you have an 80 on it, which there are some who have an 80, which means you did a good job. An 80 is above average, so good job. But if you want to get an A, you can make revisions and earn 10 points added to that grade. And so that's how that's going to work. So if you ended up with a 25 because you didn't do citations or a works cited page, you can essentially earn like 30 some points back on it. So if you do the revisions, I will make sure that no one, as long as you do all of the revisions and you have a decent paper, after the revisions, I'll make sure that none of them are failing, okay? So that's something that I'm willing to work with you on. And I'm going to take ownership and accountability. I guess maybe I wasn't clear enough about the expectations that I have for your writing, especially on your essays. And maybe I wasn't clear enough about what your assignment is on this one. So because of that, I'm going to give you guys an opportunity to increase your grade, because it's a large part of your grade, and I don't want it to make or break you in the class. So this will not be an opportunity extended on the second essay. So make sure that when you do the second essay, you are following all the expectations that I have, and I'll try to be clear again on that. So let me talk to you about the essay. And I apologize, I'm coming, this is from me from the gym, like no makeup, crazy, whatever, but it's fine. So let me talk to you about my expectations on formal academic writing assignments. So you have taken English 111 and 112 if you're in this course. So it is my expectation that you understand how to use MLA format. It is my expectation that you understand the importance of citations and works cited page, and that they should be done correctly. That's my expectation. You've learned how to do those things. If you forgot any of that, you can absolutely utilize Purdue OWL, but also I'll refer you back to our first week of class, August 26th through September 1st, and I give you guys an MLA review PowerPoint that literally talks to you about what my expectations are for MLA formatted papers. So use that, please. I expect that in your papers. End of story, like no question. All right, so I expect it to be an MLA format. I expect your margins to be correct. I expect your header to be correct. I expect your heading to be correct, your title. I expect your font to be correct. I expect there to be no extra space. I expect your paragraphs to be indented, okay? And then the second slide in that PowerPoint says, what is a literary analysis? This is a literature course. So this is an American literature course. Your purpose is to analyze the literature. That's what you're doing in your papers. So when I say you have to include your texts, what I'm talking about with the texts, I'm talking about the literature. So feel free to use articles that we read, but that is not the literature, okay? The literature is the poetry, it is the writings by Du Bois, it is those types of things. That's what's to be included in your paper. So make sure that you are analyzing the literature. So when I say your first essay is defining the American dream, In your introductory paragraph, you should have a thesis statement that makes some claim about the American dream and then also analyzes the literature. So if I'm going to do, I'm going to define the American dream as a certain achievement or something to that effect of happiness, freedom, whatever, then I'm going to say that this is illustrated through the poetry of Walt Whitman, Langston Hughes, and the writings of W.E.B. Du Bois, or something to that effect. And then I'm going to go through and I'm going to prove that in the paper. You have to mention the literature in the first paragraph, specifically in your introductory, or in your thesis statement. So that's a literary analysis. What is an author saying about a particular topic? We're talking about the American dream. We're defining the American dream. So what evidence from the literature we've read can prove what our definition of the American dream is? We're not talking about whether or not it's attainable yet. We're just defining it. We will talk about how attainable it is later in the semester. So, introductory paragraph and conclusion paragraph should be your words only. I explain that in paper expectation and tips. Y'all, we do not write with in conclusion. That is bad writing. Do not say in conclusion, in summary, all in all, to wrap it up. Just take those words out and make your statement. The first sentence of your conclusion paragraph should be a restatement of your thesis. That's my expectation. Make sure you're organizing your paper well. So when you have a topic sentence, your topic sentence should be essentially a mini thesis for that paragraph. What is the paragraph about? My expectations for academic writing, guys, you need to remove yourself from the writing for these papers. No personal pronouns, no contractions. Do not ask questions. Numbers under 100 should be spelled out. Do not start or end the paragraph with a quote. Your quote should not be back to back. We went over this in week 1. So this information was provided, okay? These expectations were provided, and it needs to be fixed in the writing. You need to cite your information, okay? You need to be MLA citations. They need to be properly formatted. You need to have a works cited page at the end. It needs to be properly formatted. If you are confused about how to do that, you can utilize Purdue OWL, and it will help you do those things. You've already been taught this in English 111 and in English 112. I am not reteaching it in English 232. It's an expectation that I have. And then I go over what your works cited page should look like. This is from week 1. So I expect you guys to be using that in your papers. Sorry if there's a little irritation in my voice, but I did go over this stuff. So, okay. And then when we go back to the actual essay assignment, when you open up the American Literature Essay Assignments document, also some of this stuff is covered in there as well, okay? So your assignment is to cover realism and modernism. You need to use 3 sections of the literature. Literature means not the articles. Please use the articles. That's fine. That should be in addition to the literature. Hughes's poem needs to be at least 1. So you have to use Langston Hughes's poem. You have to. And then you can choose to use Walt Whitman. You can choose to use W.E.B. Du Bois. You can choose to use Fitzgerald. You can use all of them, but you need to at least use 3. And one of them being Hughes, because Hughes is going to be our anchor text. We always will use Hughes. So what are the key aspects of the American dream? Where do they come from? And then specifically in the question, it states, how is this definition reflected in the various texts we have read and discussed in the class? Some of you guys did not even mention that. That's in your prompt. So I expect it in your paper, okay? So I don't know how much more clear I can be in regard to that expectation. And then on the second page, I tell you how to make an argument. I give you examples of how to do a thesis statement, okay? I talk about what you should quote, when you should quote. We talk about this little picky things, okay? So if you're talking about a poem, it should be in quotation marks, not in italics. If you're talking about a novel, it should be in italics and not in quotation marks. It talks about how you quote things, how you quote poetry. I ask you to introduce, explain, and show how a quote relates to things without saying this quote relates to this in this way, okay? You need to to write academically, write formally, okay? This is an upper level English class, so those are my expectations. The opportunity for you guys to revise is going to be posted for next week. So I will not put that up until Tuesday, and it will be open from Tuesday to Sunday, and you will submit your revised paper in that assignment. There will be no grade for that. Okay, so I will not put a grade on that. What I will do is look through the papers, look for the improvement, and then I will add the points to your original grade, okay? So far I've graded 12 of the 17 essays, so I have 5 more to do. Those 5 will be done by the end of the day Tuesday. So if you haven't gotten your grade yet, maybe you're in great shape and I just haven't looked at your paper yet, but very few of you thus far have been in great shape. So by the end of the day Tuesday, that assignment will be posted, and you will have your grades back with some comments that I've put in the paper into your papers. If I say so what, okay, I'm not trying to be rude. I don't understand what the connection is or why you are saying what you are saying in regard to the essay assignment, or you have not provided evidence, or you have not connected it to the text. So that's why I'm saying those things. This is not a paper on what you think the American dream is. It is a paper on, I mean, you're still presenting your argument, but you're not saying, I believe this is the American dream. No one cares what you believe. You need to state the American dream is made up of these principles, and this is backed up in the literature of these people. And then that's what you're proving throughout the essay. Yes, I do expect you guys to be writing upper level papers at this point in time, because this is an upper level English class. So not going to keep you in the grades that you have now. If you choose to make the revisions, so if you choose to make the revisions, then you will submit that by Sunday of next week to the assignment that I upload for next week. And that will be in addition to the work that you're doing for next week. So be aware of that as well. And if I open up that revision and there are no works cited and no in-text citations, it's not an MLA format, I am not going to read it. So please make sure that those things are done. If you have specific questions, feel free to email me and I will return your email as quickly as I can. If you have a grade that you're not happy with, I highly suggest you take advantage of this opportunity. Again, this will not be extended for the second essay. I'm hoping this is a learning experience for everybody, and we know now what the expectations are when we get to our last essay of the class. This goes for any writing you guys do for me. So when you have your mini essays or anything like that, these are my expectations, okay? Journals, not so much. Journals, you can use personal pronouns and things because that's a journal, okay, or a discussion forum, even though we still kind of want to try to write more formally, okay? But in a paper, it's an absolute expectation. So don't stress out about it right now. Enjoy your fall break. But on Tuesday, that opportunity will open up, and it will be open till Sunday of next week. And again, I'll address any specific questions you guys have about your papers via email, or you can call me on my office phone next week. Even if I'm not in there, leave me a message and I'll call you back. And I will check in with you guys next week and do a new video with all of the expectations that I have for next week's assignments.